Hello and welcome to a new watercolour tutorial. Today I'm doing a watercolour and doodle art. So this one's like super easy. If you want to get the outline, that's free for followers and members. Yeah, so this is just a lovely simple one, and you can get the full real-time version of this over on my Patreon as well. So I'm going to be using Daniel Smith paints today and my own handmade glittery paints and a black pen and some white paint, and everything will be listed in the description below. So I hope you paint along and I hope you enjoy the video. So I need to find some nice colours. So we want a nice glittery sun. I'm going to mask off a few areas, don't want much, just a little bit of masking fluid. I'm using this little silicone shaper tool, and I'm just going to put some on here. We're going to have some flowers on here. Okay, so I'll leave that to dry and then come back and start painting the fields in. Okay, so I'm going to make up the sky colour first of all. So we want lots of buff titanium, and then just get a little bit of that Quin burnt orange. Mix that in to make a nice creamy colour. And then I've got a small mop brush. This one's a Maiden, just one of these kind of brushes. They hold a lot of water, and I'm going to wet the whole of the sky area, and then once this is wet I'm going to drop in the sky colour. I'm going to paint around the sun, around the trees. Tilting that towards the light, and then you can see any little bits that you've missed. So I can kind of see that I've missed some there. And then I'm just going to get that sky colour, just kind of drop that in all around the edges. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, because we're going to lift some of it back out as well to give the appearance of some clouds. I'm just scrumpling up some kitchen towel, and then I'm just going to lift some areas out to make it look like there's some clouds. Dropping a little bit of darker colour over the top, just trying to make that look a little bit more crisp, as though it's some kind of cloud shapes. So I'll leave that while that's drying. We'll make up the colour for the sun. So I want some quinacridone gold. And a little bit of glitter gold. So this is kind of a larger particle glitter paint, and this one's glitter gold. So these are available in my shops, and everything's linked below. And I want it to be like super glittery sun, so I'm going to add quite a bit into there. we want the sky to be dry first of all, so I'm going to dry that off. I'm going to wet the whole area of the sun. Because I'm wanting a crisp edge, I've switched to a flat brush. It's easier to get across the edge like this, you see, with a flat brush, I think. And then I'm going to go in with the glittery Queen Gold. Drop all that in and it'll go nice and smooth over the already wet page. And carefully go around the tree. And then I'm going to get some of the Aussie Red Gold just on my brush right out of the pan, and I'm going to drop that in kind of to one side. That is quite strong, so I've taken some of that off the brush, get it strong to one side. I'm just going to get a little bit of water on my brush and drop that in, and I'm trying to spread those little glittery bits out because sometimes they'll clump up a little bit. Just trying to make them a little more spread out. Right, I'm just going to leave that like that. So we've got like a little darker area, a lighter area. We don't need to touch the areas around it, so that can just dry naturally while we paint these. So I'll make the paint up for these. So I want some Aussie Red Gold. We're just going to kind of paint them in different autumn shades, the ones that I tested before. So we'll have some Aussie Red Gold, we'll have some of the Rose Sienna Light, some of the Quin Burnt Orange, some Burnt Umber, and then I was going to do some of the hills in the Buff Titanium mixed with a little bit of Payne's Grey to make a nice kind of bluey grey colour. And then also some of that Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm going to use a square end brush because the corners are handy for getting in to those corners. Now I'm just going to paint this on. I'm not going to paint water on these ones because they're just smaller areas. The water helps you to get it down smooth, but I'm not really bothered about these hills being smooth. So I'm just going with a lighter colour. So this one's the Rose Sienna Light. I'm going to paint this one, I think. I can't paint the ones next to those, so I'll have to go to, we'll do the wall and this one while these dry, otherwise they'll just run into each other. So I'm going to go with the Down the Rabbit Hole for this one, just to get a couple of darker fields in there. This one's got a little bit of shimmer in it, like a shimmery light black, this one. And I don't really want it to dry super dark black because I'm going to draw bits on it. going to go burnt umber for this one. And I think this is kind of dry enough now to pin across the edge. I'm going to lift little bits of that out. Don't want it to be too dark. Let's give it a little bit of texture as well. Then I'm going to use the, I'm going to do Aussie Red Gold for this one. And then I'm going to get some of the Queen Burnt Orange for the bottom area. Kind of around the edges. And then just kind of blend that upwards. Next is the wall area. I'm going to do just some brick shapes like this. And I'm just going to keep changing up the colour. And I'm actually getting it right from the pan so that it's nice and neat. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm going to get some of this grey colour, put that in there that I made up. Doesn't matter if it runs into each other and mingles in. And I'm also going to use burnt umber, which is a lot darker. And then I'm going to make this one grey with the grey colour that I made up. Okay, so that's where we are so far. I think I'm going to add some water onto this one here, because it just looks a little bit like a washed out colour. I want it to be a little bit richer. So I'm just adding some water on, and then I'm going to drop some deeper colour. Dropping a little bit of Queen Burnt Orange just here and there. So just got it neat right from the pan. And then a little bit of burnt umber as well, just to make it a little bit browner, because it's gone a little bit too orange again. Not sure about this. I'm going to add some black pen, so that will probably bring it together. We'll put some pen around the edges and stuff, and then it'll tie in with this. So now I'm going to add the black line work as the second step. So I'll start with the trees. So start with this one. Need to get rid of this line. So make them a little bit thicker towards the bottom, and then I'm just going to start drawing these lines up to the edge, and then just let them stop when they meet another branch. Just make some of them a little bit thicker so that It looks like there's some main branches kind of running through there. I'm also going to do lots of little doodles all over here. Lots of kind of just little scruffy circles and C shapes just to give some texture. Just going to add some little doodles across the top of here as well. I'm going to move on to these trees now. So I'm just going to draw an outer circle. It will be wobbly. That's fine. It's just doodle art. And then a smaller one here. So this one is going to be the one with just the branches like this and the little, all filled with little dots and swirls. So I want to go maybe not all the way up, kind of halfway, and then branch off, and then branch off, then up, then back. So we've got our main branches where we want them to go. I'm going to make them a little bit thicker. Put a few smaller ones at the ends. And now I'm just going to fill with some swirls, maybe in the larger areas. And then I'll go large circles, put a few of those around. Then some larger dots. And I'm just going to do it, just fill it in with lots of tiny dots as well. I'm going to keep going until there's almost no white space left. Yeah, I'm just going to fill all the rest in with loads of tiny dots. Oh, I like that. I think that looks really effective. It's like some kind of filigree, kind of see-through. You can see the hill. You can't on this one, but that's okay because it's just doodles. I'll do another one like this here. So this one's going to be a super tall tree. So that's all 3 trees. I think they look kind of cute. I'm going to fill in this with all those tiny circles. So just tons of tiny circles, nice and relaxing. Let them go over the edge a little bit just to give a bit of texture. I take off the masking fluid. I think I'll paint a few of these. Yeah, I'll paint some of these colours. Maybe just leave some white ones. I'm going to draw some lines around some of these bricks. I'm going to do a line across the top of there, just a real scratchy line to show the edge of the wall. I'm going to outline this one. Yeah, I think I'll outline these. Maybe just them two. Just a tiny little bit here, not much because that's in the distance, so I don't want it to stand out too much. I'm going to draw some little trees across this line here. I'm going to make some little I think I'm just going to add some gold, some glitter gold. It's lovely and soft because it's had water on for such a long time. And I think I'll maybe just add, I don't know whether to do lines or dashes. Maybe just, yeah, I'll just do lots of these little dashes. I think they'll look nice. Okay, nearly finished, and I want to do like some white around the outside of the sun, but it's not really dark enough, so I'm going to add some more deeper colour around there. So I'm going to get some more of the buff titanium, and I think I'll darken it with some burnt umber. So I'm just going to paint it on the dark areas, the darker bits like this, and then I've got some water on the mop brush and I'm just gonna rub on that edge, get some more water on the brush and add that a little bit further down, drag some of that colour down a little bit. Fine if we get like watermarks and stuff, it's fine, it'll add interest. Kind of want some around the edges as well, so that the edges will kind of stand out when we take the masking tape off. Some more clean water there. Take that kind of over the edges a little bit as well. That can go right down. I'm going to take some across the bottom edge as well. You see how we're going to get a water line there. It doesn't really matter if we do, but I'm going to just add water, take it to the edge just to prevent that water line. And then I'm just going to absorb that little puddle that I've made. Make it a little bit darker down here. Blend it out with some water. I'm going to dry the whole thing off now with the heat gun. So we've got a few little watermarks, but that's fine. I'm going to get the Dr. PH Martin's white, and I'm going to add some little white details around the sun. Oh, sorry, camera wasn't recording. I've got the Dr. PH Martin's white, and I've got a tiny little size 0 round brush, and I'm just doing a line. I don't want to cover the dark orange, so I'm doing it on the outside. So a line in the white, and then just some little squiggles like this. I'm hoping that's going to make the bright orange sun really glow even more on the page, hopefully. Maybe do some little stalks on these flowers. Drawing a few little leaves as well. Just decorate this bit up a little bit more. Okay, so there we go. Easy little landscape. And there we go, there's the finished picture. Really simple, really easy, loads of fun, and great watercolour practice if you're just starting out. You can see the little gold bits in the wall and here, and then we've got the glittery sun as well. There we go. So if you want to watch the full real-time version of this, that'll be over on my Patreon. I'll trace the outlines, put them on my Patreon as well, so the outline will be free to download for followers and members. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back probably earlier than Friday, hopefully, because I'm gonna try and do another video in between. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video.